180 odd million people tuned in to watch that press conference.
And we're here, it's fight week.
That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about a fantastic heavyweight fight. Two guys, a rematch. So much at stake for these guys in their career. The winner gets a seat at the top table. Becomes the mandatory for the WBO title, which will take place next year. I'm hoping we're going to get a unification fight on. Then you'll have two mandatory defences. First being up the IBF, next would be the WBO, which the winner of this fight will have on Saturday. That'll lock down the heavyweight division for 2 years. So the loser will be sitting around for 2 years before he gets an opportunity. That's why it's so exciting.
What happens to the loser, though? Is it time to pack up the
gloves? The loser, he loses, and that's it. And then we'll work with the loser to get him back in there. But it's all about the winner. This fight. That's what it's about.
I've been talking to a lot of people in regards to this fight ever since the fight's got announced. David Hayes said, listen, I asked him, what does Joyce need to do differently? He goes, he needs to move his head. He just needs to move his head a lot more. Do you agree with that?
He's not wrong. That's what he needs to do. He needs head movement and he needs speed. And look, he knows, Joe knows better than anybody. It's only 5 months ago, that fight, and it's unusual for a rematch to be made so quickly. But he wants it, and that tells you a lot about him. And he's worked hard, I'm sure, after watching that fight, on what he needs to do. And I'm confident he can do that.
Do you believe that we got to see everything of Zhang in that first fight, or do you believe there's a few more skill sets that we haven't seen yet?
I hope so. He's got, he can't do what he did last time. It's got to be different.
We know boxing isn't as straightforward as anything, and we've seen Anthony Yarde's opponent pulled out. What's the latest with Anthony Yarde's opponent for Saturday night?
Well, his opponent's being sorted out, and he'll fight. I just wanted to get the ring rust out of his system. Shame we lost the opponent, but he will have somebody, and I just wanted to get a win, get that rust out of his system, and challenge for a world title before the end of the year.
Do you want to ask you, Frank, what's the latest with the Daniel Dubois appeal? We saw that coming official.
Still waiting for the WBA to confirm when they're going to hear it.
I just quickly want to talk about Tyson Fury before I do let you go. Carl Froch's comments, I know you've probably seen him. He's saying Fury's hitting the sport, fans are turning against him. Do you believe that is the case?
Well, 180 odd million people tuned in to watch that press conference. So 180 million people must like him to tune in.
There's a few calls actually online for Fury to, vacate his title if he's not going to fight real fighters.
He's saying he's not fighting real fighters. The guy's come from a UFC background. Have you seen his fights? Does he come to fight? Does he fight?
I think people mean boxers.
Well, yeah, but let me tell you, he's fighting the guy. This guy's not going to outbox Tyson Fury. The guy who won't outbox him. What he'll do, though, is what I've seen. He's going to come in, he's going to try and rough him up, he's going to try and land his bombs. He's going to try and put Tyson out of his stride. But if you think of Tyson's last 4 or 5 fights, he's not got on his toes and boxed people. He stood and traded with him. So I think it'll be a shootout. I don't expect Tyson to come through because, as I say, I think he will stop him. But I know the other guy won't outbox him.
Frank Warren, always a pleasure to talk to yourself, sir, and speak to you soon. Thank you very much.